Overnight in Washington, D.C., protesters gathered outside of the Supreme Court after Politico reports a leaked initial draft opinion reportedly revealing the Supreme Court is poised to overturn the constitutionally protected right to an abortion, federally protected. So the right to an abortion has been ensured by the nearly 50-year-old Roe v. Wade decision. But according to Politico, women in the U.S. could lose that federally protected right by the end of June. Here's a look at the leaked draft. According to Politico, 98 pages long here, reportedly written by Justice Samuel Alito. This relates to Mississippi's strict new abortion law that would ban almost all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. But keep in mind, Politico noted in their report that draft opinions can still change even up until they are released. The draft reads in part, quote, "The inescapable conclusion is that a right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions." It goes on to say, quote, "It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives." KSHB 41 News reporter Charlie Keegan is following this for us from the Planned Parenthood in Johnson County this morning. Charlie, break down what this means for people here in our area. Right now, it's a bit of a different story in Kansas and Missouri, isn't it?
It sure is. And let's start in Kansas, where I'm standing. If this draft becomes reality, overturning Roe versus Wade, clinics like the one here behind me would actually be able to continue performing abortions in Kansas. More on that in just a little while. I want to walk you through some of the finer details of where we stand. Start in Kansas again and then move on to Missouri. In Kansas, the state Supreme Court has ruled that the state constitution makes abortion a fundamental right for women. But in August, voters will go to the polls and decide whether to amend the state constitution, which would then give lawmakers the ability to ban abortions in the state of Kansas. So that is big news here and how it relates to this draft ruling in Kansas. In Missouri, there's something called a trigger law, and that means that if the Supreme Court rules that to overturn Roe versus Wade, it would trigger the law to go into effect, which would basically ban almost all abortions immediately here in Missouri, and that would apply to abortions that are over for pregnancies that are 8 weeks or longer. So there is a lot at play here, and on the national stage, groups like Planned Parenthood, where I'm standing outside of, have made out statements saying that they plan to fight for the voices of pro-choice women here moving forward should that Roe versus Wade ruling be overturned. As indicated in that draft, Lindsay, still a draft. We need to highlight that it's not an official ruling quite yet.
Charlie, let's take a look across the country now. How would this ruling potentially impact abortions on a national scale?
Well, nationally, there are about 26 states, so more than half of the United States that are likely or certain to enact bans on abortion should this overturn take place. And 13 of those states have trigger laws in place, like Missouri, and we want to put up a map showing you which of those states have those 13 states have those trigger laws. Of course, each one of those states' laws would be a little bit different, you know, certain exceptions for abortions under certain circumstances and whatnot, and different weeks of when the abortion limit is cut off. So it's all kind of up in the air, but a lot to keep track of here right now. Back to you in the studio.